in what was probably the game of the year for the NFL. The Ravens beat the Browns 47-42 on Monday Night Football in Cleveland. Man, all right, that was one hell of a game, man. I was watching that game and I was engaged. It's been a long time since I've seen a Monday Night Football game that really has me sitting down like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, this could be the game of the year very well. But anyway, enough of my comments. I'm gonna start with you, Mario, man. What do you think of the game?
Yeah, I mean, at first, within the first quarter, it seemed like it was going to be a defensive game. It seemed the defense looked really good. I mean, the Browns obviously scored the first touchdown, and then the Ravens responded. But after that, it seemed like it was going to be a defensive game. Then all of a sudden, everything just changed, man. It was just back and forth. And I mean, the one thing we can point to is Lamar he ends up being questionable, and he ends up leaving the field, and then comes back and ends up throwing the go-ahead touchdown. I mean, that just shows that Lamar Jackson is a very special guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really I can say, Lamar Jackson's a very special guy. He's a very good player, and he proved it. I mean, I thought the Ravens were going to win this game, and I said he needed to have a good passing game and a good rushing game. He didn't have a great passing game, but he had a really
great
good
rushing game now.
Right, and that's where I was wrong, and I'll admit that I'm wrong. But I mean, let me tell you something, man. I mean, there's a lot of jokes going on, he had to go to the bathroom and he came back, but come on. But let's be real here, man.
If he really sharded himself, then he came back and he was better than ever.
Even if that was the case, credit to him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's hard to get a go-ahead touchdown in the NFL in general. Despite it's hard to do it in the NFL, despite what you have, whether he had cramps or whether he had to go to the bathroom. Despite what it was, it's hard to do it. And I mean, he came in, he responded under pressure, because that's the one thing, and that's the number one thing that I would look at in a quarterback if they're really good, is how good do they respond under pressure? How clutch are they? And Lamar Jackson proved how clutch he was.
Right. And I want to just go over the stats from the game. Lamar Jackson, of course, like we said, he didn't have a good passing game, but he did have a good rushing game. I'll go over that. He went 11 for 17 completion attempts, 163 yards and a touchdown. So at least he got a touchdown out of it. But his rushing was 9 rushing attempts, 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. And get this, average yard per carry is 13.8, almost 14 yards. That's big. That's very, very big, especially for a quarterback. As for the other running backs, J.K. Dobbins came back. He did his thing. 13 rushing attempts, 53 yards, one TD. I mean, not the best thing in the world, but he got himself a touchdown for the team, so good for him. Gus Edwards had 7 rushing attempts, 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. I forgot to say J.K. Dobbins' average yards per carry was 4.1. Gus Edwards was 7 yards per carry on average. Marquise Brown had 2 receptions, 50 yards and a touchdown. Mark Andrews had 5 receptions for 78 yards, so he was responsible for helping his team get down the field pretty quickly. Now I want to move on to the defense. The defense, I want to say this. This is one of these games where both teams played good. It was just one factor that cost them a game. I'll get to that in just a minute with the Browns, but I just want to go over the Ravens defense before I get to that. Marlon Humphrey really came in. He came in and did his thing. It's not a lot, but he did his thing. He had 4 tackles, a tackle for loss, 2 forced fumbles, which is really good, and a pass defended. That's a nice night. It's not player of the week status, but it gets you through the game, and they won it because of it. Marcus Peters had 5 tackles and a forced fumble. That's again another really good thing. Tyus Bowser had 3 tackles, an interception for 17 yards. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that got taken for a touchdown. Did it or not? I think it did. Did it, or did he just get down the field with it?
I can't remember. I
can't remember either. But he also had a pass. You guys can correct me in the comments if we're wrong. But he also had a pass defending, which is good. Deshaun Elliott had 7 tackles in the pass defending. A lot of players had a lot of passes defended. Brandon Williams and Jin Ward had a pass defended, both of them each. But what really won him the game in the end was Justin Tucker. He came in clutch with that 55-yard field goal, which was his only field goal in the game. But he also made all 4 of his extra points, which is clutch. He came in clutch for his team. He had that field goal in the final seconds of the game, and they needed that. As for the Browns, they didn't play a bad game either. Let me just go over those stats too. Baker Mayfield had 28 for 47 completion attempts, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Not bad, but that interception does kind of take away. He also had a rushing touchdown. He went 5 rushing attempts for 23 yards and a touchdown. Before I continue, I just want to say we said this on the show many times. It's unnecessary to make your quarterback throw almost 50 times. And I'm gonna explain why I'm saying it right now. Only 2 other players came in on rushing. There was only 2 other players aside from Baker Mayfield that was rushing. Those 2 were Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb had 17 rushing attempts, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4.8 average yard per carry. And Kareem Hunt had 6 rushing attempts, 33 yards, a touchdown, and 5.5 yards per carry on average. When you only have 2 guys on rushing, that's a problem. That's why you're making this dude throw almost 50 times a game. That's unnecessary. You got to have more guys on the rushing game. I know a lot of them don't provide, but you need that kind of reinforcement. Kareem Hunt also had on receiving. He had 6 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Rashard Higgins had 6 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Donovan Peoples-Jones got him down the field good enough for 3 receptions for 74 yards. Same thing with Jarvis Landry. He had 6 receptions, 52 yards. But I really want to come up on the record and tell you why the Browns lose this game. Fumbles. Let me name them to you. Rashard Higgins, 3 fumbles. Unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. 3 fumbles in the game is absolutely unnecessary. Same thing with Jarvis Landry, 2 fumbles. You can't be having that. That's unnecessary. Kareem Hunt, 1 fumble. Baker Mayfield, 1 fumble. Too many fumbles. And those fumbles is the reason why the Browns lost this game. Had those fumbles not been have the fumbles not been way too much, I think the Browns could have won the game, but I can't say that because it never happened. But that could have been a factor of them winning if that never happened. As for the defense, though, defense did do their job. Terrence Mitchell had 4 tackles and a forced fumble. Sheldon Richardson had 6 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss. Oliver Vernon had 3 sacks. Oh no, my bad. Two tackles, 3 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 tackles for loss, and the pass defended. My bad. I got my words mixed up. Sion Takataki. I said that right? I think I did. He had 5 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss. Myles Garrett had 3 tackles and a tackle for loss. And I'm going to tell you the other reason why the Browns lost this game. Cody Parkey. He missed his field goal. Had he missed his field goal, this game would have been a lot closer. Maybe like a 1-point game, but Cody Parkey needs to make those field goals, man. I know he only had 1, but you need to make that 1 time count, and he didn't. But he did make 4 out of his 5 extra points. Again, you got to make those extra points. Not that hard. You're 25 yards out. How do you miss it? So I think, like I said, what really cost the Browns this game was too many fumbles. I mean, 1 player making 3 fumbles in 1 game is unnecessary. You got to hold on to that ball. Yeah, make the excuse you're in Cleveland. It's cold. I get that, but you got to hold on to the ball. You know what I mean? And because of that, I think because the fumbles kept on multiplying, the Browns lost that game.
Also, I'll say this. So I agree with your point about the fumbles. Obviously, you cannot keep fumbling in that game, and Rashad Higgins had a lot of fumbles, and that really cost him the game. But I disagree with you on the rushing, and the reason why I say that is because I don't think it matters how many people rush, because a lot of people only have 3 running backs on that depth chart. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it matters how many people rush. What I do think matters is the productivity, and I think Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt did a good job with that. And also, I remember the one thing that's good about Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is because they're 2 very good running backs, but they have 2 completely different skill sets. Personality-wise, they're different guys. Kareem Hunt is very expressive. Nick Chubb is very quiet. Nick Chubb is a completely different rusher than Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt might be a better receiver, in my opinion, than Nick Chubb. So I don't think the rushing game had anything to do with this. Here's what I will say, though. The reason why Baker Mayfield threw so many times, I'm going to call it on play calling. I'm going to call it on Kevin Stefanski and his staff. And don't get me wrong, I like Kevin Stefanski. I mean, he used to be an offensive coordinator for the Vikings. He did a lot of great things for the Vikings. I respect him and I appreciate him for that. But play calling in this game was just too much. And I think it all came down. I think the reason why Baker threw so much is because of the play calling that was happening. You could have gave the ball a little bit more to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, but you didn't. You let Baker Mayfield throw 50-something times. And I mean, Baker Mayfield did a great job for the amount of attempts he was throwing. Remember, if a quarterback has like 20 attempts throwing versus a quarterback who has 100, the quarterback with 100 attempts might throw more picks than the one that throws 20. That's just obvious. So So with that being said, I really do put this on. I really do put this on Kevin Stefanski, because what he could have did was he could have had the ball, ran more with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Considering the fact that Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt had themselves some good nights and did some good things for their team. One other thing I want to point to is, like, even though the defense had some like upside, look at the bigger picture. The score was pretty high for a game like that. That's not supposed. It shouldn't have really been that high, you know.
Right.
And I mean, that's the one thing we got to look at, man, is how high that score was, and you could put it on two good offenses. But guess what? I've seen defenses beat offenses this year. I've seen like, for instance, I have seen a Patriots defense beat a very good Chargers offense. so I mean, like, it's to put this completely on the running backs. I don't agree. You know, I think the running backs did themselves a good day. I think Baker Mayfield had a good job. To put it on fumbles, I absolutely agree. You know, turnovers are very costly. You never know when it could come in handy. And the one thing about Cody Parkey is a lot of us give him, he's always going to be looked under a microscope, always because of what he did in Chicago. He's always going to be looked at under a microscope. He missed that one field goal, and that one field goal definitely was a big shifter in the game. And obviously, but for us to say, like, for every kicker to go perfect, it's not necessarily true. Like, Rodrigo Blankenship, he has gotten players of the week with one missed field goal, and he made 4 out of 5. But, like, because he made the last one, it ended up kind of overshadowing the one he missed. Dan Bailey had himself a bad game in Jacksonville, but he kicked the game winner in Jacksonville, and it kind of overshadowed how bad a night he had. And then obviously he went to Tampa and had himself a worse night. So, like, Cody Parkey's always going to be looked under a microscope. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's up to him for the opportunities that he has to go and make those field goals. You're not going to always make every field goal. I understand that. And honestly, how many field goals did Cody Parkey make? Just field goals?
He didn't. He only had one field goal. Didn't even make it.
Oh, so he went 0 for 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that opportunity you absolutely have to take. I thought he had more than one field goal. That's why I was making that point. Thanks for mentioning that. So yeah, when you have that one opportunity, you need to make it. It's as simple as that. And I mean, I got to give a lot of credit to the Ravens. I mean, Lamar Jackson, he did exactly what I thought he would do. I mean, passing game could have been a little better, but that, again, Lamar Jackson's running game is so great. The rushes for the Ravens, they did pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? I'm really starting to think that the 1-2 punch is turning into J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards opposed to J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram. But I think they did pretty good. The receiving game was all right. But again, with 160-something yards, what else can you really expect, you know?
Yeah, right.
Passing. But, like, I mean, both offenses played very good. Both defenses kind of shied away from the challenge. And at the end of the day, the Ravens offense made a very clutch play. Lamar Jackson did a very good job. And I think that's what really got them to win. I think play call from the Cleveland Browns, and I think the Baltimore Ravens coming in clutch and doing what they do good as an offense. That's really what gave the changed this game.
Yeah, but, absolutely. Yeah, congratulations to the Ravens. Congratulations to both teams for putting on one hell of a game. NFL just better be on the game of the year. If you even have a game of the year awards, you better put that game on there. That was one hell of a game. But as always, you know, congratulations to the Ravens. That was a close game to the Browns, but still, you got to look at that play call because you know a lot of that cost you the game. And if you guys did not watch the game and you want to go check out the highlights of this amazing game, that link will be to that in the description down below.